Hey guys, it's your boy Chris here doing a little baking in the kitchen today. With all the requests I've been getting for hops bread, one of those crusty rolls we enjoy as sandwiches, dinner rolls. You can even make burgers with these things, but nice and flaky, sort of airy on the inside. And these are them here. I just made them into 12 even dough balls. I'm going to allow them to double in size, rise again. It's probably going to take about 45 minutes to an hour, so I got to put a damn towel on there. But that's basically what we're doing today, homemade hops bread, and that's what it's called, hops bread. If your first time here visiting, hey, subscribe. Above me you're going to see that subscribe thing. Click on it. All the latest videos are going to be sent to you. Below is where you're going to leave me your comments, your questions, any recipe you want to see. Post it below and I'll try to get to it. And finally, give the video the thumbs up or like it. Helps it go viral, helps spread the word about what I'm doing here. So here we go. A Trinidad and Tobago style hops bread, a crusty sort of roll. I'm absolutely going to love it. Guys, what I forgot to mention is this recipe that I'm using, and for you seasoned bakers, the way I use the yeast and the way I put the yeast together without actually allowing it to bloom in liquid first may seem a bit strange, but this recipe I'm using is something that was passed on to me, and I'm using it exactly as it was given to me. I'm trying not to stray from it. My dad, who's the baker in the family, he's down in the Caribbean for the winter, so I don't have his input at this point. Gotta get a man a BlackBerry so I could do my BBM thing with him. But please, if you're a seasoned baker, you're a veteran at this, you may find the whole yeast thing a little bit strange, but bear with me, you'll love the results. The ingredient list for making the hops bread is fairly straightforward and simple. Up front here I've got 2 tablespoons of shortening, 1 package of instant yeast, it's about 8 grams. Here I have water, and this doesn't represent all the water. We're going to need about 2.5 cups of water in making this. Over here, the flour, all-purpose flour, so we're making bread, right? In this container I have 4 cups of flour. I don't have a big enough container to fit properly on screen here, so we're going to need 8 cups altogether. So I repeat, this is 4 cups here, but we're going to be using close to 8 cups of flour. Up front here, 2 teaspoons of granulated sugar, and here 1 teaspoon of salt, and that's it. If I forgot anything, as usual, I will mention it as we go along. In a bowl here, I've got the 2.5 cups of water, and I emptied in the 2 tablespoons of shortening. We're trying to melt this down. So all I'm doing, using my whisk, and remember the water's got to be hot. I'm just going to give this a good whisk until it melts, and then we're going to allow it to cool down to become sort of lukewarm. In this big bowl here, what I've got is 6 cups of that all-purpose flour. We're going to start with the 6 cups, but we're going to end up using very close to all 8 cups of flour. In goes that instant yeast, the salt, as well as the sugar, and using my whisk, because we want to whisk this around. To start with, I'm going to give this a good stir before we start adding by now your water should be lukewarm. We're going to start adding the water to start creating that dough. With all the dry ingredients already in here, so I've got 6 cups of flour, the salt, sugar, as well as the instant yeast. All we're going to start doing now is adding water to this to start forming the dough. And the water I have here, the 2.5 cups with the shortening, I'm just going to start mixing in this. Just keep working it until we've got all that water in there. Ooh, did you guys see that one? All that water is in here, and I've been working it with my hand, but it's very sticky. So here's where we're going to start adding that additional 2 cups of flour to here. So I'm going to start adding maybe about 1 cup at first, and keep working it and adding more as we go along. So all I'm doing is pretty much kneading this into a nice soft incorporated dough. So up next, what we're going to do, we're going to flour the surface here, and we're going to put that dough that I've been working on directly onto the surface, and I'm going to continue kneading it here. Now try not to over knead, but we really need this to be nice and smooth. I've used so far about 7.5 cups of flour, got about half cup left in the container here, but I'm going to keep working away here, adding more flour as necessary. My dough ball is nice and ready now, so what we got to do, we got to allow it to rest, to rise basically, and that's going to take anywhere from about 35 to 45 minutes depending on how warm your kitchen is. So all I'm going to do is get a bowl and lightly grease it. I'm using the cooking spray because we don't want it to stick once it goes in there. And then I'm just going to place that in here. And with some cling wrap, I'm just going to cover this, put it in a warm spot in the kitchen, let it do its thing for about 35-45 minutes or so. Basically, you're looking for it to double in size. It took about 45 minutes, but the dough has doubled in size. All we're going to do now, we're going to punch that down to deflate it a bit, and then to the right here, I have my parchment-lined baking sheet. If you don't have the parchment, all you need to do is sort of lightly grease it. The other thing we will need, because we got to let this double in size again, is a damp cloth for allowing it to not dry up. Because all we're doing here now, after I punch it down, I'm going to make them into even size dough balls, about 3 inches in diameter. I'm going to show you guys that in a second. So all I'm doing basically is grabbing a bunch of dough and then working it until I have a sort of a smooth surface. Then I pat it down and I'm putting it on that parchment lined cookie sheet. So with a piece of that dough ball in hand, all I'm doing is working it. I'm just grabbing from on the outside and sort of curving it in. Then all I'm going to do is pinch the bottom like this. It's a bit fast, and then there you go, a wicked dough ball ready to go to rise and get bigger. It took me about 5 minutes to really form all these dough balls here. So I've got what, 4, 3 is 12 hops bread ready to do its thing. So all we're gonna do now, remember, we need for this to double in size again. However, we don't want it to dry up. So this is why I have that damp towel that I'm basically gonna put over it and allow it to rise again. Put it in a warm corner in your kitchen. Put it in a warm corner in your kitchen and let it double in size. It's probably going to take anywhere from about 50 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes depending on, well, I guess the environment, right? But this is it here. Allow it to rise, double in size, and then we're going to stick it in the oven. So it's been about 45 minutes since I put this aside to do its thing, to proof, I guess they call it. But here's the big reveal. You guys ever watch Restaurant Makeover? The reveal. So here we go. Exciting. Bam. Look at those guys. Nice and puffed up. Hey, the chest swell up. All I'm doing now, guys, I'm going to preheat my oven. I've got my heat, well, it's preheating right now. 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Once that comes to temperature, I'm going to put it in the oven. And it's going to take anywhere from 15 minutes to 20 minutes to cook on the middle rack of the oven. Since oven temperatures vary, my oven here, it took 25 minutes to get it to the color and everything else that I want here. Once it cools down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys the texture and everything else. You can obviously let yours go darker if you want. It looks a bit light on camera here, but trust me, it is a lot darker than what you're seeing right now. But here it is, guys, Trinidad and Tobago style hops bread, a lovely bread to have with sandwiches and stuff like that. What I'll do is, once it cools down, I'll give you guys a peek inside. It's been about half an hour since I took them out of the oven. They're nice and cool now. Now here's the thing, once you pick them up, once you knock on them, it's going to get a sort of a hollow sort of echo from it, which is cool. That is exactly what you want. Here, I have about 2 or 3 of them missing here. You can't see it. I think there's maybe 2 of them missing. When they were still warm, I'm thinking maybe they were still considered hot. I had to get some butter. Butter and this is wicked. Now I just came back from the store. I've got some nice cheddar down from New Zealand. So tomorrow morning I'm having these guys with some cheddar, some butter, my Milo. Oh gosh, I'm good to go. So here we go. I'm going to rip one open and show you guys how nice it is inside. So nice that is there. Oh boy. Nice and flaky. Chris enjoying himself, as you can tell. Guys, Give this hops bread recipe a try. Karen's going to make some burgers now. She's going to use these for burgers. But tomorrow morning, and I'm still talking with my mouth full here, tomorrow morning I'm going to be doing the bread and cheese, and I might even put in a slice of ham in there. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen as usual. Give the recipe a try, and remember to tell your friends about all the delicious recipes that which can be found here.